And we're back up at the start for the Frosh Light 8. This is the debut for the class of 2014 for the Tigers. We have Princeton hosting Georgetown and Columbia in the Fosburg Cup. We have alignment, attention, go. Princeton closest to the finish line, shore, farthest from the camera, with Georgetown in the middle, and Columbia far from the shore, close to the camera. 10 strokes into the race, all three crews are off cleanly. Princeton is your early leader by a deck over Georgetown and Columbia, who are level. This is the first race for the Princeton Tigers and Georgetown. Columbia raced 2 weeks ago at the tail end of their spring training trip. Got a light tailwind, which is always good news for lightweight crews. As we come into 250 down, it is Princeton by 3 seats over Georgetown. Georgetown 1 seat over Columbia. All three crews have settled into their base cadences, have strided out to the cadence they'll hold for the bulk of this race. It is Princeton in control early on. They're your early leaders with 3 seats over Georgetown. Georgetown 2 seats over Columbia. And before we even get to the 500, the Tigers are taking a press to increase their margin from just a few seats to a half length. Very powerful move by these Tigers, as they've gone from 3 seats to 2/3 of a length in the course of 10 strokes. But it is Columbia who is responding, taking second place from Georgetown. Columbia is now a seat up on Georgetown. Georgetown and Columbia maintaining contact with Princeton, who is still steadily walking away from the other two crews. Princeton is broken open from Georgetown, and Columbia leads Georgetown by a deck, trying to maintain contact with Princeton. Princeton is moving the best. As we approach 750 gone, it is Princeton first, having just broken open from Columbia. Columbia a deck over Georgetown. 215 through 750. Not too much motion between Georgetown and Columbia as Princeton continues to increase their margin. Columbia is calling a move, and they are closing some of the gap to Princeton, but walking more steadily away from Georgetown. Georgetown Frosh are going to need to respond here if they want to stay with Columbia. Columbia is trying to close that gap to Princeton, but that open water advantage, especially in these Frosh races, it's very tough to come back once the crew breaks open. Through the 1,000 in 2:58, it is Princeton by a length and a quarter over Columbia. Columbia a third of a length over Georgetown. We're in this third quarter of our Frosh Light 8 race. The wind has died down a bit. Still have a little bit of a light cross tailwind as we get into the last 500. We're going to see that come across the bows from the port side. Columbia has opened up a little more margin from Georgetown. They are half length up over Georgetown and closed a bit of the gap to Princeton. I wouldn't call it contact yet, but Columbia is moving the best at this point. Very good charge from these Frosh Lions, coached by Ed Golden. So we're at 750 to go. It is the Tigers by a length over Columbia. Columbia nearly a length over Georgetown. Columbia is having a little bit of a sag after that move that they started in the first half of this third 500. Princeton is now responding by opening the seats, opening their margin back up from the seats they yielded to Columbia 100 meters ago. It is now Princeton by a length and a quarter over Columbia. Columbia with deck overlap over top of Georgetown. Approaching 500 to go. Princeton is now walking away from the Lions.
Shut it back down and restart.
At 500 to go, it is Princeton through at 434, followed by Columbia a length and a half back, with Georgetown still 1 length closed water behind the Lions. Princeton Frosh are starting to raise their cadence as they come into this last 400 meters of their debut. You can hear on the mic we have a strong crosswind in this last 500 coming from the port shore. See some of the coxswains are adjusting. See some blades starting to get in touch with the buoys on their starboard side. Columbia is closing a little bit of the gap. They've opened up a 2-seat open water advantage over the Hoyas and are moving over onto the Tigers' advantage. But it is still the Tigers who are in control, a length and a quarter over Columbia, with Georgetown fading off the speed in this last 500. It will be Princeton taking this first race of the lightweight program, winning their debut, the class of 2014, over Columbia Lions and Georgetown Hoyas, over to the finish line.